UWF Argo football. ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies, and rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, for a man age 45 non-tobacco user, it's $1 million of coverage at $75 per month, level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. Remember, 1-866-929-1950. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes for preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
More than 100 million wild animals are killed each year, illegally. Poaching is just one of the risks animals face at our hands. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor. I grew up in the beautiful rural countryside of Ohio, where animals roamed freely in the open forests. I have a deep concern to help preserve those open spaces for our wildlife friends, so they can live and thrive like they used to. Destruction of their habitats threaten their very existence. The best way to protect wildlife is to protect the land where they live. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats, and establish permanent sanctuaries. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE. Or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
Hey, Chad Berliante here from the Sports Drive. Well, mixed bag in the South in college football this week. Not the best overall week for the SEC, but Alabama and Georgia continue to win. While in Tallahassee, more domain names are being bought, like FireTaggart or FreeWilly.com. Probably don't want to Google the last one. Awesome to see a record-setting performance from Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma, much sooner than many expected. And Bo knows comebacks at Auburn. I'll join myself and Joe Ford 5 to 7, Monday through Friday, for the Sports Drive, right here on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Football season has arrived, and ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM is where the action is. Bringing your high school football every Friday night, UWF football on Saturdays, and the NFL on Sundays. If you would like to partner with ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, give us a call at 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. WEBY Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Coming up on the Sports Drive today, big weekend of college football and the NFL, previewing all the games. And what in the world is going on with Mr. Cam Newton?
Just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Baldwin beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest. 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba.
Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. I am Chad Brillante. Glad to be with you here as always. Broadcasting on this Friday. We've made it to the weekend. It's hot. Football season, high school football, college, NFL, all back in full force. At this point, you know whether your team is going to get beat by 40, if you're going to win games, or if you're just trying to salvage a victory at Blue Wahoo Stadium in front of a bunch of fans against Virginia. You can pick what team that is. Well, we're going to get to all the big games and more, break down what's going on right now around the NFL. Big week for a couple of teams trying to make a statement after a tough week one. I don't know if the Miami Dolphins are that team in a 20-point spread, which is the highest right now in the last 4 seasons in the NFL. Antonio Brown will play in that one. Boomer and TJ are back right there with Michael Johnson and all the classics right there with Chris Berman and TJ Jackson, Tom Jackson on NFL Primetime. If you're under the age of about 25, you might not remember every Sunday before social media, before phones, before everything, we sat in front of the tube and it was like Christmas. Like you'd sit there and listen to some songs you don't like Bing Crosby that breaks out on like an old A-track one time a year. Well, that was NFL nights around the campfire, chestnuts roasting, as you got to watch Tom Jackson and Chris Berman break down the games. And it's changed a lot because you can get the games and you can watch all the games on NFL Prime. You can watch all the games on ESPN Plus or the NFL package. Fantasy football has taken over, but back then it was just a glimpse around the country of getting to watch some of those games. Coming back from church, I'll never forget running to the tube to watch that. And they'll be back for a 20th season. So pretty excited right there. Rob Gronkowski has figured out how to fix CTE, apparently. He says he's resolved it. Probably a couple Bud Heavies and a party in Neon on the cruise ship.
Probably not play football.
And one of the most cold takes you can possibly do to a pitcher in Toronto. We're going to get to all that and more. Joining me, you can hear him tonight on high school football. He's our voice of not only Talk Football with Coach K, co-host here on the Sports Drive, and also our lead play-by-play member for our high school football game of the week, Joe Ford. Joe, what's happening, my friend?
Oh, it's Friday. It's a football Friday. Got the weekend started last night. A bit of a snooze fest there on Thursday night, but
Whew.
Yeah,
we sort of called that though.
Thursday nights usually are, but Friday night, high school, big high school football game. Looking forward to calling Washington against Gulf Breeze at 7:00, and then just all the games Saturday and Sunday. I mean, there's nothing like it. The anticipation.
It's going to be exciting and looking forward to it. And of all the games this week in college football and the NFL, what game is to you the most intriguing matchup?
Probably the Saints-Rams.
I would agree with that, yeah. They should make that referee crew be back out there. But just, I mean, they would probably get a standing ovation. I mean, that crew, I mean, they get them in this one right here. But I want to start with this Clayton Richard story because it's the only time Clayton Richard will ever start a show. And it was a moment of Twitter. You know the old saying, think before you speak? It's now think before you tweet.
Right.
But this one with Clayton Richard, it's his 36th birthday, which is old.
Happy
That's
birthday.
an elder gent in baseball. And he goes out there and they say, have a great day, Lefty. Like with the balloons, they even got like a Toys R Us thing going on. Everybody's excited. Remember Jeffrey the Giraffe? Do they even have those anymore? I think most of those are, hitting the, those are.
Jeffrey the Giraffe with Toys R Us,
I used to love that back in the day, yeah. Where a kid could be a kid.
Right.
And now kids
Toys R Us
become a kid when their mom types in on Amazon. That's how that does. But so Clayton Richard, they say happy birthday. Now 2 tweets later, not too many people outside of Toronto Blue Jay fans are following their Twitter account these days because they're well below 500. 2 tweets later, Blue Jays have re-signed Elvis Luciano and released Clayton Richard.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. You guys already stink. This guy's not hideous. He's not good, but he's not one of those guys, it's an urgent call. But you go ahead and put a tweet out there that you've released the guy on the guy's birthday? 2 tweets after you celebrate with balloons and, smiley emojis? Can we give this guy a break, please? What kind of whoever is running their Twitter account or that front office has no soul at that point to do that to him on this day. It isn't an urgent move for the playoffs. This is not one of these teams. Their move, it makes no this is nothing to do with them making a run in the postseason at all. I could see that. If a team needed a pitcher, it was vital. This young guy was throwing 101 gas. They could get him on the mound. I get it. Baseball, it's a business. But this is like celebrating somebody. I mean, we have our monthly parties down here, our monthly, get-togethers where everybody, all the different with Cat Country, News Radio, ESPN, we all come together. Everybody talks about it. Everybody, gets awards. We have lunch together. Everybody talks about it. Like, imagine giving the guy like the award, like, here's our employee of the month. Everybody cheers and be like, do you mind coming to my office afterwards? Like that. That's what just happened. And I mean, about as ridiculous of a moment. And business is business, but that is the, I guess you can say, the cold take of the week goes to the Blue Jays on that, north of the border.
No, I mean, and that's something I've never heard anything like that before. I mean, I'm sure guys have been released unceremoniously, but that's. But I mean, his ERA was like 5.96 though. I mean, so it wasn't like he was producing well. So I'm sure they want to take a look at a young guy, but yeah, maybe not on his birthday. Maybe wait a day. What's the harm in that?
So Clayton Richard, 36. Have a great day, Lefty.
Or do it before the day before his birthday to not make it awkward.
I mean, you couldn't wait one more day. There's no that's what I'm saying. There wasn't any type of reason to force this. They could have done it tomorrow and probably been the same. Elvis Luciano,
people would have known. Like, people were like, wait, the day after his birthday? But yeah, the perfect day to release him would have been the day before. Because then you wouldn't have had to tweet, hey, happy birthday, Clayton Richard.
Send him a
cake in the mail. The only people that would have known would have been his Facebook friends.
Send him a gift card in the mail for a cake.
Yeah.
Well, Tim Tebow is not a huge fan of athletes getting paid. And earlier today, he talked a little bit about it on First Take, where Stephen A. Smith lets people know how he feels. And if you don't agree with him, Tim Tebow is like a brother to me, getting in there and getting excited, emotional, and just gets a little more energetic than the other person around him. And it's been a big conversation. There's not a perfect answer. There's not a perfect method to this madness of paying college athletes. When you look right now at athletes in general, it's easy to look and focus. What we do is we focus on the star athletes of certain schools we love because they're the ones in the spotlight. We talk about Tua or Trevor Lawrence or ATN or all the guys that we're used to, the Tebows of the world. But we don't talk about the offensive tackle that plays for Kent State and all the things that are going on. Now, Tebow spoke about it as a guy who would be on that short list if his brand, which was clearly recognized by Gators and his number, would have made tens upon tens of millions off of his brand if he was able to get paid for his likeness. And this is what he had to say.
I feel like I have a little credibility and knowledge about this because when I was at the University of Florida, I think my jersey was one of the top-selling jerseys around the world. It was like Kobe, LeBron, and then I was right behind them, and I didn't make a dollar from it. But nor did I want to, because I knew going into college what it was all about. I knew going to Florida, my dream school, where I wanted to go, the passion for it, and if I could support my team, support my college, support my university, that's what it's all about. But now we're changing it from us, from my university, from being an alumni where I care, which makes college football and college sports special, to then, okay, it's not about us, it's not about we, it's just about me. And yes, I know we live in a selfish culture where it's all about us, but we're just adding and piling it onto that, where it changes what's special about college football. We turn it into the NFL, where who has the most money, that's where you go. That's why people are more passionate about college sports than they are about NFL. That's why the stadiums are bigger in college than they are in the NFL, because it's about your team. It's about your university. It's about where my family wanted to go. It's about where my grandfather had a dream of seeing Florida win an SEC championship. And you're taking that away so that young kids can earn $1. And that's just not where I feel like college football needs to go. That's fair, There's that opportunity in the NFL.
I mean, he's got a point,
Very
and you
passionate,
can see, Stephen A. saying that's fair, man, was him just like not trying to be a jerk to having Tim Tebow on the air. I don't know if he agrees. Tebow was off the air. I'm sure he said, because I've heard him say that the athlete should get paid. Look, here's what I think we need to realize about society today. People should be able to make decisions on their own and then pay the consequences or reap the benefits later. And we have, for the first time in a very long time, we actually now have a league that could do that in the XFL. So I am a complete proponent of going out there and being able to say, you know what, if you think you're good enough, you 18-year-old kid that has a little developing and growing up to do, go play the XFL. And in 2 or 3 years, have a chance at the NFL. And if you want to make $100,000, $75,000, take that. Now, if you go to the college at an Alabama, it's just like any job. The reason why you spend a little, you spend money to go to medical school, and people are still paying off student loans in law school. But later on, when everybody else is making $50,000, $60,000 a year and being satisfied, you're making $1.2 million, winning one of those injury law cases worth $5 million. And for the rest of your life, you're set. And that's the reason why you look at the XFL and say, hey, you know what? Take your risk versus reward. Go ahead and do that if you want to be the guy that wants to get paid early on and you're that good. But if you go to college right now, you are getting paid a stipend. The average college athlete in Division I football costs $52,000. $52,000 to take care of. So in that case, you could go out there and still get the money, and then when you're done, go out there and make $10, $15 million. You see what I'm saying? It's an option now that never was there. But if you start opening up the door to California, or you start opening up the door to another school, or you see what I'm saying? Everybody's gonna want to go to USC if California is the only one doing it. Everybody's gonna want to go to UCLA or Cal Berkeley. South Carolina is looking into this. If the Pay-to-Play Act, and if for the people that don't know what this is the state of California 72-0 voted in government, voted for the likeness, brand, and image that you can get paid for, that a college athlete could get paid for their brand, for their likeness, their name on the back of a jersey. And if they do that, though, you're talking about star athletes that will want to go nowhere but California. I would. If I was a star athlete and I had a choice between a school in California and a school in Texas, and one was going to give me $2-3 million, the other wasn't, and all I had to do was play football, do the same thing, why would you not? So this has got to be across the board. The autonomy has to be there, or it will fail. At anything you do, it has to be that way, or it will fail. And I think the NCAA will shut this down before it ever gets off the ground in college football.
Yeah, and to what Tim Tebow is saying, I think the thing that he brings credibility to this conversation based on the fact that he is on that short list of guys who could have really profited off of his likeness. That being said, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. 623-1330 is the phone number. But my issue, or not really an issue, but I understand where Tim's saying it, and I understand that the place that he's coming from, the background that he's coming from, the family that he's coming from, I understand why he's saying what he's saying, and that is one individual story, and he brings a lot to it. But my problem and my kind of going the other way on this is the place where Tim Tebow came from, the background that Tim Tebow has. Not very few college athletes have that. Right, the stable family life, and if Tim Tebow never went to the NFL, I'm sure that he would have been fine doing whatever it is that he wanted to do. And there's a lot of athletes that we could certainly say that about. But the fact of the matter is that right now we're in a society, and we're in an era in sports where the athlete, especially in the NBA, we're starting to see that more in the NFL, where the players are taking more control over their career, and just the way things are going. And this is really something that you could really go back to LeBron and how he has really ushered in that era, that mindset that, hey, I'm in control of my career. Nobody else is. And we've seen that empowerment, especially in the NBA, and it's trickling over to the NFL. But again, I have no issue whatsoever with Tebow saying that. And on the flip side, I have no issue with somebody who says, yeah, players should be able to profit off of their own likeness. I am in that camp myself. So again, no problem with what Tim said, but just recognizing that very few people have that story, have that background that Tim Tebow came from, where he didn't necessarily need to profit off of his likeness in college. Well, you know what? For players who don't come from that situation, that stability financially and just the family background, this could be their only shot of really cashing in, because there's nothing to protect them against future earnings in the National Football League, even if they make it that far. So, yeah, I mean, if a player is good enough or if he has a story compelling enough that he's able to profit off of that, I have no problem with that. And I think it should be that way.
UWF with a big game this week as they have dominated against Shorter over the past few seasons, and they will take on the team on the road in Rome, Georgia. When in Rome, they are just dominant as they'll take on a team in Rome, Georgia this week, looking to get a W to move to 1-1 of the season. You can hear the UWF football games right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Big night in high school football right here on ESPN Pensacola, as well on Blab TV with the big game. Looking forward to all of the high school football action. When we come back, we'll break down some of the local news, get into more on last night's NFL game outside of Cam Newton looking like Mary Poppins. It's all coming back right here on this Friday edition of the Sports Drive.
This is Tort Talk with personal injury lawyer Terrence A. Gross.
Hi, this is Terrence A. Gross. In 1986, the Florida Bar limited personal injury contingency fees through trial to 40%. At that time, I thought that was too high. I've now practiced personal injury law in Northwest Florida for over 40 years, and I'm proud to say I've never charged a client 40%.
Tort Talk is brought to you by Terrence A. Gross. Call 434-3333 or check him out at grossandschuster.com.
Welcome to Bo! Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. Snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
I'm Troy Rafferty, and many of you know about my love for sports and my longtime support for our local high school athletes. One thing these fine young people have taught me over the years is this: whether it's on the ball field, in the classroom, or in a court of law, always work your hardest and achieve the best results possible. And that is the commitment we make to our clients and our community.
Levin Papantonio in Pensacola since 1955.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there.
We are broadcasters, your home for Pensacola sports, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Coach K brings football to life year-round. The teams, the players, and the front office.
Well, we're very appreciative to Dabo Swinney, the head coach of the national champion Clemson Tigers, to take the time to be with us.
Talk football with Coach K every day at noon on your radio.
He does possess the skills necessary to play and be successful in the National Football League or anywhere else.
And Coach K live on Facebook and YouTube at ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
You're in charge of hiring, and Indeed has solutions, like online skills tests, which let a candidate show that they're the right hire. We'll also have a dolphin chatter excitedly in front of the perfect candidate. Okay, there's no dolphin. But skills tests, that's a for sure.
See why independent research by Silk Road shows Indeed delivers 3 times more hires than any other job site. Visit Indeed.com/promo today and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply.
Golic and Wingo.
A different host from ESPN Radio from around the country is going to make their pick in our Survivor pool.
This is Davis Allen from ESPN Pensacola, and my pick for the Golic and Wingo Survivor pool is Kansas City over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That might be the toughest game on the board week 1, and Pensacola is swinging with Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes.
5 to 9 every weekday morning. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Chad Brillante with you here. Joe Ford. Well, last night's Tampa Bay and Carolina game, as we expected, wasn't the best of games. Was one of those kind of games. Anytime you have Thursday night football, you're going to get so-so. You know, the NFL is the most hypocritical league. They make a lot of money, and we enjoy it. There's probably a lot of things. If we saw that commercial that says finger licking good, if we actually saw how all the chicken was made, we probably, wouldn't be lining up down the street. But, we just assume it's all great, and the chickens have, like, one of those, like, Christmases with PJs before they go out. We all just assume things and then look the other way. Thursday night football, we go, you know what? It's football. No college football last night. Usually they throw in one of those ACC matchups. No college football. So we sit there and we go, okay, you know what? We've got some football. But it's not the best product. The players get hurt, and usually it's a pretty crappy game. I mean, it's not usually the Saints versus the Rams or the big games that we talk about. It's usually a game like the Titans-Jags, Bills-Jets, one of those kind of games, and it's usually low scoring, and both of them are just watching the clock tick to get out of there on 3 days rest. It's the same old story, and we pretty much pinpointed that game last night. I mean, when we were breaking it down, we're like, hey, look, it's not going to be that great of a football game. There are going to be a lot of mistakes being made. It's going to be close. It's going to come down to the wire, but it's not going to be one of those come down to the wire type games like LSU, Texas. It's going to be more of the come down to the wire, oh, well, that thing's finally over. And that's what we got last night between two Heisman national champion type quarterbacks.
Right. Well, you think last night was a quarterback battle. Wait till next Thursday nights. Got the Marcus Mariota Gardner Minshew special.
Making it happen right there. Woo. Can't wait for that one right there. What did you think? If you had to pick right now between what quarterback is the closest to hanging up the cleats and hopefully not making too poor of a decision based on wardrobe or Uber drivers, Jameis Winston or Cam Newton? At this point, what guy do you think is closer to hanging up the cleats? Cam's older, but Jameis has been probably pushed out. He's off every billboard in St. Pete. It's not the same guy that when he came out of college everybody wanted as the number one pick. Who do you think has a longer career left in the NFL?
I'm going to say Jameis does. And the reason why is because I have legitimate questions about Cam's longevity moving forward, because something is clearly wrong, okay? Whether it's the foot, whether it's the shoulder, there's something going on. But to go into that last drive and really the play that ended the game, the Christian McCaffrey keeper there, to watch the Carolina Panthers make the decision on 4th and inches to not only not give Cam Newton the ball, but to have him essentially removed from the play, that spoke volumes to me. Because for as long as Cam has been in the NFL, it was as close to a lock as you could get. On 4th and short, it's going to be Cam sneaking, it's going to be Cam over the top, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. The Panthers wanted nothing to do with that last night. And that is troubling to me because Cam's play, the offense, the entire offense is built on the dual threat that Cam Newton brings you. And I don't think he has that, and I have legitimate questions about whether he will have that. Because I think he's at the point now where we love the Superman style of play that he's had for his entire career, I think that it's a legitimate concern that those hits that he's taken for so long have finally caught up to him. And I wonder and I question whether or not Cam is going to have to fundamentally change his entire approach to the position. And I think that's right now, Cam's in no man's land because he knows that he can't do what he wants to do, and he's not good enough to do something else right now. Yeah. That's a bad place to be in. I could be way wrong, but that's what I see. That's what I saw last night.
I think they're both at this point, their teams, and they're not going to look the other way. They're not going to go ahead and say, you know what, we're ready to move on. Both of them are their quarterbacks. This isn't one of these like the writing is on the wall. Both of these guys, for the teams, they want to believe. They want to hope. They want to see that guy because when you're at one point a guy that won the Heisman and national title, you're just hoping that guy comes back. With Cam, he's never going to be that guy. He's been banged up, injured, looking like Mary Poppins. Everything he's done now, if you cannot be utilized to win a game, like last night was where you play that music like on YouTube, like in the trenches, the Warrior, right there, 4th and 1, game's on the line. This is what it's all about. NFL Films would have one of these, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And that's when Cam Newton shines. That's when he usually, starts off in a shotgun, makes a little juke, fakes like a pass, and then runs it right down the middle. If he can't do that anymore, and it wasn't a horrible play call, it was a great defensive play by Hargraves.
Yeah.
But Christian McCaffrey's a good option, but if you can't do that with Cam in that situation, then you might as well, even when they call a double timeout and get a penalty off of it, like you can't win that. We'd be talking about something completely different today if they get that because they win the game and we celebrate saying, you know what, they pulled it off. It wasn't pretty, but they won. And instead he can't. If he can't do that and can't be utilized, like you said, as a dual threat player, then it's never going to get better. Where Jameis, it's more about, hey, look, build a team around him, gain some confidence, get some sort of defense, and they've got a shot. That was a big confidence win because he's still capable of making plays. It's just he's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde every week.
Right.
He doesn't always have, a great running game at all. His running game's been horrible. Peyton Barber had a decent game from Auburn. And the defense is So overall, that's what you're dealing with here. Looking at the situation with Rob Gronkowski, well, Gronk says he has figured it out when it comes to CTE. And now this is a guy who obviously took some shots. Everybody was going after him. And really the only way to get him to the ground was to pretty much crush him. I remember looking back.
Take out his knees.
Do something because physically the guy's a beast and almost impossible to tackle. Well, he said that he had a fixable response after revealed in an interview with CBS News that probably 20 concussions in his lifetime, including 5 in which he lost consciousness. Now, he said that it was pretty much at this point something that he was able to fix. He said, it is fixable. It's fix mine. There are plenty of methods in this world that allow the brain to recover from severe damage. That is also why I would allow my kids to play football. He said, at this point, Dr. Chris Nowinski had helped him with a number of different things he wrote a book called Head Games, Football's Concussion Crisis. And they turned it into a documentary. But did a number of surveys that said that after brain trauma, that there are exercises for the brain and there's things that you can do over time that will help get your judgment, confusion, everything that you're suffering from mental loss, suicide rate, everything that we relate, CTE with Parkinson's, dementia down the road. There are ways to fix that by taking steps. I mean, that sounds very broad.
Did he outline what those are?
God. I mean, I'm trying to figure out. He says pretty much at this point, he said, not really. I mean, it just pretty much, he said, the study increases significantly our understanding of CTE and gets us one step closer in diagnosing the disease early in life. And pretty much goes on to say there are ways that you are able to. You are right about brain plasticity, and I am glad you are feeling great today. But he says CTE, Alzheimer's cannot be fixed or cured. They eventually have a chance to. But you have to come see me and talk to me more. That was from Chris Nowinski, the PhD, the doctor who said, like, Gronk, like, that's great. Like, you can do exercises, you can do this. I've helped you. I'm happy with that. Read my book, buy my book, tell people to buy my book, but it can't be fixed. Look, Rob Gronkowski is a fun dude to party on a cruise ship with, but he's not the guy that is going to fix CTE. Will Smith telling people, tell the truth. It's something, but it comes down to risk versus reward. You know, if you're one of those people, if you're a lifeguard for 50 years, you're going to look like you're probably 70 when you're 40. If you're outside every single day for 20 years. If you have one of those jobs where you work around, mines, you probably are going to get lung cancer before somebody else. It's part of the beast of a job, and sometimes it really stinks, and sometimes you get paid handsomely for it. And that's what the NFL is, the risk versus reward. Yes, it really does stink. One of my best friends, Laurent Robinson, had 4 concussions in one season, ended his career. But he got paid a $19 million contract, and about $8 million was guaranteed. So think about the things in this world and the movies that are made by people like Michael Bay with things blowing up. But all of that, think about how much people would do for $8 million. Think about how much people would do for Rob Gronkowski's salary. It's one of those kind of things where, yes, the injuries are there, but there's also the benefits. And getting kids out of the inner communities where football is giving them hope and a chance, where they might go on to sell drugs or never get out of home. And I'm just basing this on firsthand being around people that have said this. It doesn't mean it's always the case. For every case, you can find another case. I'm sure there's a couple people of Mexican descent that voted for Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can always find the opposite of what the majority is. But at the same time, that is the case. Is the risk versus reward for NFL players, to me, is always going to be greater. And Rob Gronkowski has not figured out CTE. You just have to find a way to deal with it. And if you are, I have no problem if somebody gets a concussion or getting hurt like Andrew Luck of walking away from the game. No problem at all if that's what you're going to do.
Yeah, and 2 examples where, the reward didn't outweigh the risk, and that's 2 perfect examples there. And the one thing that I said when Andrew Luck walked away and all the conversation was about Andrew Luck, and I brought up the question, how many guys are just like him, getting ready for another season? Maybe they've been in the league for a couple years, maybe they've been in the league for 12. How many guys are in the league right now where the risk is the reward still outweigh the risk, whether it's because they haven't been careful with their money, or they're still trying to get that one big payday, or whatever the case may be. So, there's a lot of players. And Rob, I don't know. I know he was on Twitter a lot today, and he was going back and forth with a lot of people on this. So it sounds like he hasn't figured anything out.
No.
I know he's fighting for the what is it? Is it the cannabis or something else? He's advocating for players to be able to use something.
He's already forgot what he was fighting for, but I think it was cannabis. Rob
Gronk. He was a guy who was just a shell of himself, and physically you could just tell. His arm was essentially surgically repaired and sewn back onto his body, and he had a couple of ACL injuries, I think, and so
he's not. Look, he's a different human being to start. He's not the kind of guy
that
you need to take
he's
from.
Got a screw loose before he started playing football.
He's not, and especially from a guy that has had 9 surgeries and 20 concussions. If he has, that's not the guy that you want to take the assessment from. You want the guy that's been like the doctor of the guy walking in with 9 surgeries and 20 concussions. That's like the guy getting like 45 DUIs. It's like, you know what? Drinking has nothing to do with impaired driving. Be like, dude, you ran over a stop sign last night. But, that's the difference is we got to look at that and realize that Rob Gronkowski, you're a good football player. Let's not do any medical research because that is not teaching the kids any good lessons Rob Gronkowski said I can run into this brick wall. When we come back, we're going to take a look at all the games in Spread 'em, taking a look at all the big matchups in college and the NFL. When it comes to Spread 'em, hopefully that's not happening to you with the Cops tonight, but we are going to break it down with all the different games in football. It's all coming back on this Friday edition of the Sports Drive.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Guys, the secret is out. If you want healthy sex, your body needs nitric oxide. And now you can boost your nitric oxide production faster than you thought possible with Ageless Male Tonight, the absurdly fast formula from the #1 brand in male enhancement. Just take one capsule an hour before romantic activity. You'll get clinically tested ingredients that rapidly boost nitric oxide production, and it won't go unnoticed. Rush to 7-Eleven and get Ageless Male Tonight.
Friday nights in the fall are a magical time. It's Friday Night Lights, where new stars are born, where agony meets victory. ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM and sister station News Radio 92.3 AM 1620 brings you all play-by-play coverage during the week's best matchup. We are football. We are Friday Night Lights. This Friday night at 7, it's the Gulf Breeze Dolphins versus the Washington Wildcats right here on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM.
Get a floor that's 100% waterproof for life without sacrificing the style you want. The Home Depot has Pergo Outlast Plus laminate starting at just $279 a square foot. With 22 designer colors, Pergo Outlast Plus can fit any style, in any room, beautifully. And you can rest easy because it's waterproof. Get Pergo Outlast Plus starting at just $279 a square foot at the #1 Pergo waterproof laminate flooring retailer. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only. See warranty for details.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
Professional truck drivers, Schneider has more driving opportunities for more lifestyles. Personalize your career by choosing the freight type and driving style that work for you. Dozens of options available in over 50 dedicated accounts with consistent miles and predictable home time. Enjoy more career paths, steady weekly paychecks, and comprehensive benefits, including a 401k plan with a leading company match. Get a better driving job now and a brighter future at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
And welcome back. Sports Drive with you right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast on Blab TV each and every night from 5 to 7, replayed midnight to 2 a.m. Happy Friday. It's going to be a fun football weekend. A reminder, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, we'll be out there at World of Beer Blend Lounge on Sunday for the NFL tailgate party. Looking forward to it. We're going to be set up indoors. That was like, as Ron Burgundy would say, milk is a bad choice.
Yeah, it was a bad choice.
It was a bad choice to set it. It was like 105.
Yeah.
And I had that one Patriot gear that did not smell like sweaty Italian sweat, so I end up wearing the long sleeve, like the lightweight. I thought, like the Nike combat shirts, it was going to be
like a little dry fit.
Horrible choice.
Yeah.
And I lost 6 pounds that day of sweat. Yeah. But looking at the games this week, all right, let's get to everything from the week with Spread 'em as we take a look at the biggest matchups this week in the NFL and college football. And Joe, let's start off here with the games going on here in college. And South Carolina versus Alabama.
What's the spread on that?
25 points.
Alabama covering.
2:30 kickoff. Are you sure? We've had a couple 5-bomb callers this week.
Yeah, I know.
Let us know that the heat this week in Columbia could be like at least 2 degrees hotter than in Tuscaloosa, and that could affect the difference with a backup quarterback in Ryan Helinski. No, I think Alabama covers this game. Look, South Carolina lost to North Carolina, and we have seen nothing to show that this team is, one of those matchups. So at this point, definitely one of those kind of things that I don't think Alabama has a chance to get this one done. South Carolina having a chance. I'm going to put my phone away because things are distracting me real quick. I don't think that Alabama is going to have any problem destroying South Carolina in this matchup.
Nope, I agree. Nothing more to add.
Nothing more to add on that one. Let's move on here to the next game. Taking a look here at the matchup as, well, Washington State and Houston tonight. Any chance the Cougs get it done? Cougs always are good. Hey, look, late night Friday with the Cougs.
Yeah.
They have a shot to taking on another Cougar.
Over under 74. Washington State favored by 9. I have them covering.
I think they're going to cover as well. Houston, we saw that first week. Dana Holgorsen, it takes him a while to learn the thing called defense. Outside of that, Washington State, Mike Leach, always fun to watch. And I think in this matchup, it should go to Washington State. Moving on here to our next game, looking at Ohio State and Indiana. Now, the Hoosiers have always played Ohio State tough. And in this matchup, I don't think there's going to be any problem covering that 17.5. I like Ohio State, but they always seem to play tough in this matchup in Bloomington. I'm going to go with Indiana to lose. Ohio State wins, though, 34-24. They don't win. I mean, they win, but don't cover.
Indiana, offensively, not very good. Ohio State is a much improved defense from a year ago. I'm going to take them to cover. I think they win by at least 3 touchdowns.
Looking at, as we move on here for the biggest games this week in college football, another one here that is on a lot of people's heart, obviously, Stanford and UCF.
Yeah. This is
just
such an
such
interesting pick here. 9-point spread, UCF favored. For some reason, I just can't shake the fact that it's a David Shaw coach team. I know that it's not the Stanford of Christian McCaffrey or Andrew Luck, but I think they're going to slow the game down here. 9 points, bit too high. I'll take UCF to win, but give me the points.
It is a lot. I think we're overhyping the first 2 games. Even as a UCF fan, sometimes I start to believe in the own excitement. I mean, a team that runs a fast-paced offense is going to take it out on a school anyway, like what we saw in FAMU and then against Florida Atlantic. Those are 2 weak opponents. Stanford's got legit athletes, and I think in this one, even though their offense isn't really clicking, this will be a battle. I mean, Stanford and UCF should be a good matchup anywhere, and we saw when UCF played teams like Memphis last year, it was a little bit different when they played tougher teams. I do think in this one it's going to be closer, but I think UCF does end up covering, and I do think they end up winning in this matchup. Give me UCF 33, Stanford 21. Looking at the matchups as we continue, taking a look at the biggest college football games, Florida and Kentucky. This is one that's going to be on pretty much a lot of our hearts based on that Sawyer Smith from Tate High School, a Pensacola native, getting his first start in the SEC, taking on a Florida Gator team. They're going to have a good party going on at Seville Quarter tomorrow. This is a matchup where Florida ended a 31-game win streak last year by losing in the Swamp. They want payback. Kentucky's lost a couple of the key players like Benny Snell and Josh Allen in that matchup. I think this one, though, 8 points, this is the toughest game of the week to pick because we really don't know how great Sawyer Smith's going to go out there and play. I think that's one of the keys here is we assume he's going to go out there and do amazing things, but it's his first start ever in the SEC.
Yeah, that's true. On the other side, I have no idea what to expect out of Felipe Franks either. I think Florida wins, but I'm going to take Kentucky on the points. It's 8.5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, give me Kentucky on the points there at home.
Yeah, I would go with that as well. I think it's going to be a close game, and I do think Florida wins, but I don't think they cover the 8 points. Looking at one more college game as we continue here with Spread'em, the biggest games of the week. Clemson and Syracuse. 28 points.
This is the game for me where Trevor Lawrence gets it back on track. 27.5 is a little high, but I don't see Syracuse, especially after whatever last week was, against Maryland. They're not slowing down Clemson. I have Clemson covering.
I think Clemson ends up dominating this game. This is not the same Syracuse team. It's a team that has a lot of problems, and I think that we saw that last week in Maryland. This Clemson team, when they want to, Trevor Lawrence hasn't played a great game yet in the first 2 weeks, and they've still dominated their opponents. Yep. I think this week in the Dome, he takes advantage of a team that scored 42 points in Maryland last week against Syracuse in one half. So I don't think Clemson's going to have any problem breaking off the big play. And one quick one to end it here, Florida State and Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia favored by 7.5 here. I think Virginia's going to win. I just don't trust whatsoever the Florida State defense, especially against a dual-threat quarterback. The offense is going to score enough, though, to keep Florida State in it. So 7.5 points, I'm going to take the Noles to cover that, but Virginia to win.
I think so as well. And I think in this one, Virginia, a good football team. They're a lot more improved under Bronco Mendenhall. That's done a great job with this program. He's added a physical element that wasn't there. And remember, Florida State has dominated this matchup. They're 12-2 in their last 14 matchups, and 10 of those games have been by more than 14 points. The difference is this is a completely different Florida State team. So don't take those stats, because Florida State at one point was great, and now they're going to overtime at home against Louisiana Monroe. Not the same team.
Yeah.
And it's all going to have to do with if the coaching staff has already given up. Jim Leavitt, good hire, but it's not going to be the difference in whether or not they – I mean, look, everybody thought Kendall Briles would be the truth, and they've still had the same problems, and it's been bad.
I have one quick question.
Yeah.
And we don't have to pick it or not. We can because I'm going to bring it up. Oklahoma at UCLA. Am I missing something here? Because 23.5 points – even though Oklahoma's on the road, that seems really low to me. Am I the only one that feels that way?
Because UCLA's terrible?
Yeah.
I think there's just the hope factor that Chip Kelly knows what he's doing one week. I
haven't seen it yet.
I mean, in general, you're going to have Power 5 conference teams that get the respect factor a little more.
I guess.
Arkansas is like an 11-point favorite over Colorado State this week, and I've watched both these teams play. There's nothing to say Arkansas should be favored over anybody by 11 points right now. So sometimes they just give the factor to the conference and the team. But no, I mean, Oklahoma State.
I mean, if you told me which game should be a higher spread, Alabama, South Carolina, or Oklahoma, UCLA, I would probably pick this one.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm
not a bettor.
I mean,
I just that one just screams at me like, I don't know.
You're probably right. I would have no. I mean, you could see this game being 52-28, 52-20. I think the dominant win would be pretty much in the works.
Yeah.
We're coming back for more. It's the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM, simulcast on Blab TV.
Guys, the secret is out. If you want healthy sex, your body needs nitric oxide. And now you can boost your nitric oxide production faster than you thought possible with Ageless Male Tonight, the absurdly fast formula from the #1 brand in male enhancement. Just take one capsule an hour before romantic activity. You'll get clinically tested ingredients that rapidly boost nitric oxide production, and it won't go unnoticed. Rush to Walmart and get Ageless Male Tonight.
I just finished updating my bath with Bath Fitter. Best decision ever. 35 years experience, Bath Fitter knows their stuff. I custom designed the luxury bath I wanted. The color, the style, thousands of options. Luxury hotel quality. Bath Fitter Pensacola did the rest. Installed my bath in less than a day. No demo, no mess, and it's under a lifetime warranty. I love my new bath. Visit bathfitter.com today to book your free in-home consultation and join over 2 million satisfied customers, or call 429-1777.
Hello, everybody. You're looking live at Fansville, a college football utopia.
Fansville.
Where the rivers flow with ice-cold Dr. Pepper.
Delicious.
Where every day is Saturday and everyone's a fan, even babies.
Fan babies.
And the seasons never change because the only season is college football season. Get a taste of Fansville this fall during a college football game near you. Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. Grab some today.
Gordon Auto Wholesale says yes. No credit, bad credit, bankruptcies, no problem. Over 250 vehicles in stock. Third row SUVs and trucks. Everyone's approved. Gordon Auto Wholesale is the bank and can help you get into a nice, clean vehicle. Carfax checked. Need a new car? Gordon Auto says yes. Can't buy one from the other dealers? Come see Gordon Auto Wholesale on Palafox just 2 blocks south of Airport. Or call 479-9200. That's 479-9200.
Hi, Marty Smith here, and my friends at Marathon are really helping you save. Because right now you get 5 cents off every gallon every day with Make It Count rewards from Marathon. Plus, you can earn points for additional savings on fuel, airfare, hotels, and more. It's quick and easy to join. Just visit makeitcount.com/radio or download the free app. So start saving today with Make It Count from Marathon. Offer valid only at participating Marathon locations. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Building a winning team is all about finding the right people for the job. That's why college scouts all over the country spend so much time recruiting players they need on the field. And when it comes to hiring for your business, there's no better tool than LinkedIn. With over 600 million members, LinkedIn makes sure your job post gets in front of the right people who will transform your business. To get $50 off your first job post, go to linkedin.com/sports. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Davis Allen, co-host of Sports Call with Davis and Justin. Catch Justin, Patrick, and me every Saturday from 11 to 1. College football is finally back, so join us this Saturday from 11 to 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1. ESPN Pensacola is your home to UWF Argos football. Catch every game, home or away, on Pensacola's home for local sports. ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
Welcome back as we continue. Spread them right here on our Friday edition of the Sports Drive. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Simulcast on Blab TV. Chad Brillante, Joe Ford with you here. Joe, I know, big night in high school football.
Yeah, Washington 2-0, Gulf Breeze 1-2. Should be a good one, though. Gulf Breeze had a really tough opening schedule. Finally got a win last week. And Washington, what can you say about the turnaround job that's going on there? So another home game for them. Chance to go 3-0. Looking forward to it.
It's been amazing, and what Washington has done turning around that program. I know a lot of Wildcat fans that are pretty pleased, and as they should, looking at the games. Looking at the matchups this week. Let's get to week 2. Everybody wants to freak out in the NFL. Everybody wants to make decisions right away. I'm looking at it and saying, give it a little time. And let's start off with one of those matchups. The Indianapolis Colts and Tennessee Titans. The Titans go out there and dominate a good Cleveland Brown team, what we thought at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
43-13. But the Titans are the type of team, A, where we have to see Marcus Mariota be able to make it through an entire season. And 2, they don't have the firepower offensively week in and week out, unless Derrick Henry really truly is going to be that beast, which we all expected, that they're going to be able to blow out opponents. They're going to play a lot of grinders. That's what they always have done. They have a division that's pretty much wide open each and every week. They're a 3-point favorite at home against the Colts that has Jacoby Brissett. I like in this matchup for the Colts to go out there on a day where everybody's thinking about the Titans and what they got done. And I think the Colts are able to go out there and win the game.
I agree. I'm picking the Colts as well. For some reason, I trust the Colts more than I trust the Titans. Not really sure why. I just, yeah. So I take the Colts on the road.
Moving on to our next game here, Buffalo against the Giants. I'm just going to move on and say let's flip a coin and pray on this one. No, I'm going to go with I think the Giants end up winning just because it's like the battle of who has more fans in the state of New York. And I think the Giants just are like, hey, we need to get one win. I don't really think either of these teams have a leg to stand on to say that they're confident. It's like who makes more mistakes. But I do think Saquon Barkley is able to break out a couple runs. Josh Allen is frustrated, and Eli Manning is able to get a win. I like the Giants to win this game in a close, low-scoring grind.
I'm picking the Bills. They're favored by 2 points. I think that's probably about right. Saquon's the best player on either side, but I like the Bills' run defense. I think they'll do what's necessary there, and I think the Bills will be able to run the ball early and often against the Giants, so I'll take the Bills.
Looking at the Cowboys and Redskins. In this matchup, I'm looking at a Cowboys team that is a 6-point favorite Last week, we thought, in a way, that they were going to go out there and dominate. It was a 7-point spread, and they end up doing it. They didn't score the first touchdown, but end up winning by 18 points. I think we feel the same way again. But in this matchup, Joe, I think that the Cowboys win, but they don't cover. Give me the Redskins, Case Keenum, to keep it close like they did against Philly last week. Give me Dallas 27 and Washington 23.
Surprised by how well the Redskins played against the Eagles last week. Just didn't have enough gas. Coming home, Cowboys never seem to do that great playing at Washington, so I will agree. Cowboys win, but I'll take the points here.
Looking at the next matchup here, a big matchup in the NFC North, Minnesota and Green Bay. I've got the this is tough.
2.5-point favorites for the Packers.
Yeah. I'm going to keep it as I'm going to go ahead and take the Packers to win at home. I think these are the type of games Aaron Rodgers does get up for a little more. Even though Minnesota's a better football team, the excitement before the injuries, the way that their defense actually showed up last week against the Bears, I'm going to go with the Packers in this matchup, 27-20 over the Vikings.
Packers favored by 2.5 points. I have really no idea why, especially after last week. I'm picking the Vikings.
Okay. Which, I would say the majority of people would go with the Vikings on that. They look like a better football team. I just have the Packers at home taking this one down. Chiefs-Raiders. Are the Raiders able to go back out there and keep it consistent? I think they played a bad Denver team. I think Kansas City slaughters them in this one.
Yeah.
Give me the Chiefs 38, Oakland 14.
Which would cover 7-point spread. Chiefs favored. I'm right there with you, especially with the loss of Jonathan Abram. That's going to be huge in the Raiders secondary, though. See a lot of Travis Kelce, a lot of Sammy Watkins. Field day again for Patty Mahomes.
They're that good. The Chiefs offensively, the Chiefs and the Patriots are that good this year. And the Rams and the Saints are probably, and that's the next game on our list, taking a look here at the Rams and Saints. Last time I checked, this game was pretty much a pick. And
looks like 2-point spread, Rams favored.
Rams are now favored by 2. I like, this is tough. This is a tough one.
I'll let you think about it for 10
seconds. It's going to be close,
here.
And there's going to be a PI call. You go ahead and make this
I'm picking
pick.
the Rams. The trifecta. The last time these two teams played in Los Angeles, it was a very high-scoring game. The over-under looks a bit low, 52. I'll take the over on that, and I think the Rams win by around 3 or 4. I'm picking the Rams here.
I'm going to go with the Saints to win in a close one. I think they feed off of that energy in the fourth quarter last week, but it is going to be a close game, 31-27. The Saints end up getting a little revenge for what was a team that ended up beating them in a game that was taken from them at the end. Well, that's all the time we have for the top of the hour. We're coming back for one more hour. Thanks for tuning in right here on the Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Have a happy Friday. Joe Ford, Chad Berliante, God bless.
Football season has arrived, and ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM is where the action is. Bringing your high school football every Friday night, UWF football on Saturdays, and the NFL on Sundays. If you would like to partner with ESPN Pensacola as a sponsor or promotional partner, give us a call at 262-6000.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Big high school football game tonight, Washington and Gulf Breeze. I'm headed out to the stadium. Chad's here for another hour. All the news and notes from around college football and the NFL. More game picks. Stay tuned.
Just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, and it's caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown.